And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show, joined again with your host, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX CRM, as well as Marshall Hill from the Pints of Polishing Podcast and Hyper Clean Car Care Products. Feliz Navidad, y'all. Hope you're buying your products now.
Hey, I got a special surprise, Shawn.
Hey, what's your special surprise?
It comes in a plastic bag,
Yeah, I see the colors
an
of the bag, and it's
unopened
making me
plastic bag
fuck.
with a receipt in it, Shawn.
Ah, yeah, the missing piece that I needed in my red and clear bag. Fuck. Anyone going through duty free, if you haven't seen that episode, I got robbed of a bottle of rum that I purchased in Bahamas because the lady didn't put the receipt inside the bag. And oh my God. Yeah, receipt and bottle. Beautiful. Oh my God.
I forgot you couldn't get it across. I would have brought you another one. My fault, man.
Oh,
My
thanks, man.
bad.
You appreciate
Completely
you, man.
forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, totally slipped your
Completely forgot. My bad.
my bad as he cracks it open. Jesus. Welcome back, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. And
Yeah.
yeah, is it oh geez. Beautiful.
Now, I got to
Oh, it's
know,
gorgeous. Yeah.
because we're going to have a fun time today. We're going to talk about getting sold and how to sell people and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one.
Did you eat the conch salad?
I did. Many times too. I love conch though. Yeah. Like, well,
No, no,
did you like it?
great for man. No, like,
Oh,
oh, this is our time. I mean,
I don't know. They
I don't
say
know
it's
why they kept telling me that I need to eat this conch salad. And then
yeah,
they were
yeah.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's good. Drink some beer afterwards and you're good to go. And I'm like,
It's
I'm
true.
already
Yeah,
good to go. What are you talking about? Like, I don't
yeah,
take pills. What
they
are we
do say
doing
it
here?
makes you
Like,
like more like fertile, more like but
I guess, I don't
I
know.
don't know. I've got the libido of like a 15-year-old though. I'm
I
just
never had a problem there
yeah,
myself.
me
That's
neither.
why I'm
Like
like,
I yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Bring it on. Like, let's go. Like,
Let's go. Yeah.
wait, what happened here?
Yeah, yeah. Why do you keep
It's
bringing me
nothing
more?
normal. Not like what the? I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's just overhyped, I think. It's kind of like in my opinion, and so in DR, for example, Dominican Republic, they have this drink mamajuana there. And it's from this plant fermented, all kinds of stuff. Or it's bark, I think. But anyway, it's got some hype around. It's cool to take shots and stuff. They say it, like, oh yeah, you take a shot of this and all night long, and it's
yeah.
gonna, yeah. Honestly, I drank it. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's just, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Momoana, but I don't know,
Yeah, there
maybe
are natural stuff, right? I get it.
for sure. Like even like,
Ashwagandha,
yeah,
that's an Asian,
yeah,
very proven. It's a root, very proven to be a aphrodisiac.
yeah, true. But even like oysters, stuff like that. But like, to what extent? I don't know.
Oysters, yeah, I can't. I never have eaten a ton of oysters and then gone, oh, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You can eat some ashwagandha. It's a root you can eat, and
No
you can
shit.
you can.
Holy shit. Okay, I've
Yep.
never had that one. Hold on.
Yeah, find it.
I'm
Ashwagandha.
butchering
Yeah.
the spelling on this. Ashwagandha.
They put it in a bunch of different stuff, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get me some of that then, and we'll put it to the test. Next Tuesday, I'll let you know.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily. Like, I mean, I guess since we are talking about it, seems
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
odd thing to open up a podcast on.
Yeah, very true.
Hey, how was your week? Well, here's what I learned when I was down in the Bahamas.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Jesus. But it's one of those things they overhype it though.
Well,
They
that's the right to the point
yeah,
of it, right? And that's what we'll
yeah,
get into later, right? Is how right? Because we were talking last week about team members and how you have to have team member, right? Two things you have to do in business. The other one is you have to sales and market, right? You have to go
yeah,
get people to buy things from your business.
100%. Yeah.
And there's the rub, right? Like,
Yeah, because
how do you do? Most people are like, how do I do it? What? I think if you're asking how do you do it, you're already asking the wrong question. You need to ask, who's a salesman that I can talk to?
yeah,
like,
it's true.
because if you don't know how to sell, you're not a salesman. You could
Yeah.
learn, but you most likely won't. So you probably ought to talk to a sales team, or great
Yeah.
reason to have the
AI. Yeah.
magic genie
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, the crystal ball.
crystal ball.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's there's a lot of ways to build a business, and I think people get stuck in the rut of I've got to do it all myself and no one knows the product or service better than me. That may be true, but it doesn't mean you're going to be the best person to sell it. Like there's businesses that I've bought into before where I had a good grasp on the product itself, I had a good grasp on how to hire people and things like that, but I didn't have a good grasp on how to sell it. I'm a really good salesperson. I can sell all kinds of shit, but in terms of I have to weigh out the speed to which we have to go to market. And in this case, there was one business I purchased. We were already in the market and I wanted things to continue and grow. I wasn't the best salesperson for that. But what I could do is take a look at the current salespeople and then hire new ones to fill that role while I continued the journey of learning how to sell it myself, which ultimately just helped me hire better salespeople. But starting a business like Auto World's a good one. We started Auto World. I had never sold detailing before, never sold any of this stuff, but I had sold things before. I had sold services, so I had that upper hand. Now, that being said, when we finally did start hiring people to just run the place, they weren't really good salespeople. And that's why I was stuck tethered still to the business to handle the sales side, handle this and that, which is fine. It was a good role for me at the time, but I had to transition out of that. And I think a lot of businesses, like you might be just starting, no employees, and you're tethered to doing all of those pieces. It would likely be easier if you're not a good salesperson to just hire someone for sales rather than getting better at sales, because then you now untether yourself from the sales. You have someone that they're good at it, that's what they do, but they can't do any of the other shit. That's where you handle all the other stuff, and then you hire people to fill those roles, and that's how you build out your team. But
Right. Because today we really want to talk about the difference in a sense of selling somebody,
Hmm.
and then what so many of us who have gone someplace or bought a service or bought a product, bought something,
Yeah,
and then had what we call buyer's remorse
yeah,
or have the wait, what just happened? Right. We all know this from the car
yeah.
world, right? The
Oh yeah,
used
big
car
time.
sleazy salesman. None of us, the whole reason why I never wanted to get in sales was because when I thought of a salesman, I
You think
thought of
of,
a used car,
yeah, the greasy slick
curly
back
haired,
hair, and he's,
greasy motherfucker.
yeah,
And you just go, no way. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be a salesman. No.
yeah, yeah.
And there becomes this, I think, in a lot of us, this uh,
It's like
hang
a
up,
stig. Yeah, there's a
stigma.
stigma.
Stigma
Yeah,
is a great word. That
yeah.
if somebody is a good salesman, then they're also what I didn't want to be, which
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
liar. I've had to trick
yeah.
somebody. I've had to overpromise to somebody because a lot of us have bought something and then gone, oh
I don't feel so great about this purchase. Yeah,
crap.
it's true because that's where a lot of people think sales is like convincing somebody
Mm-hmm.
to get something
Yep.
that they didn't necessarily want. But it can be, and it is in a lot of cases, more so now maybe than ever, where there's companies that have to make bold claims or false claims to just try and make a sale because they're just trying to get their quota, get their numbers up. But selling sales doesn't have to be tricking
Mm-mm.
somebody. It can very
Mm-mm.
much be it's just part of the customer journey. It's more you're just providing solutions for a fee, basically, right? So you're discovering, from the customer what they want, so on and so forth. And it's actually, you know what? It brings up a good point. So there's something. Sorry, I'm
A little
just gonna
pre-tip,
dive.
huh?
Little pre-tip, yeah. So we do something at our shop called prescription selling. And so prescription selling is we take the approach of like doctors. And this is a good way for someone who is maybe hesitant with sales to overcome that fear is instead of thinking it as sales and I'm the greasy slick back hair sales guy that's selling a lemon at a car dealership, remove yourself from that and put yourself in the shoes of a doctor, for example. A doctor is going to ask a bunch of probing questions. Do you exercise? Do you smoke? What's your sleep schedule like? So on and so forth. And they're going to write you a prescription. And they're going to say, oh, so your elbows are hurting. Okay, well, based on everything you told me, here's your prescription. Take this. This is
I'm
what's going
already
to help
in.
you.
I'm
There
already
you
nodding up and down. I see where
go.
you're going. I'm like, yes,
100%.
yes.
And prescription selling takes away that whole sleazeball, tricking, convincing, all that kind of stuff. You're just diagnosing the customer. So you're talking with the customer, find out more about them, probing questions, asking the right questions. And that's where to get better at sales, the first step I would do is get better at asking questions. Because then when you ask the right questions, now you can write that prescription for them based on all the things you told me. Here's what I prescribed for you.
And it's okay. It really is okay to have those written out. Go ahead and print
Yeah.
20 pages and
Yeah.
just tell the customer, hi, I have a few questions for you.
Yeah. Literally with a
You see
clipboard.
it, you
Yeah.
see it day to day without
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Hmm.
Right? They'll ask you some stuff. Now they're on their computer and they're
Yeah.
just asking you some
They're
questions.
asking
You
those
never really think
questions.
about it. So
Yeah.
you got to come across that way. Many of
Hmm.
us sort of like, well, I don't want to be, get it. You do
Yeah.
have to put on a little bit of a show here, right? I do
Yeah.
have to go into acting class a little bit. I
It's
do need
true.
to learn about tonal inflection, things
Hmm.
that if I say things a certain way, right? Those
Yeah.
can put off. So if I just, hi, ma'am, I do have a couple questions for you. You're
Yeah.
okay with this, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you and I have listened to plenty of books.
It,
We've
oh yeah.
read books, and
Yeah.
listeners, go spend time listening to a sales book. Understand those questions. Think about ways you, and it's okay. Write them
Mm.
down. I used to go into dealerships.
Yeah.
I used to go
Yeah.
to finance offices,
Yeah.
the GMs of dealerships with my
Yeah.
pen and my paper because I was learning sales and I had
Absolutely.
to ask these questions because if I was going to actually provide them with a solution,
Yeah.
I had to know their
You had to get
pain
the
points.
answers to.
I
Yeah.
had to know what was bothering them. And
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough. I'm not a natural born salesman. So I
Yeah.
wasn't good enough. I didn't have that raw talent to just go
Yeah.
in there and sling.
I
I
know what you
didn't
mean.
have it.
Yeah.
My
And
talents are elsewhere. I had to learn. And like I said before, I don't do everything I did because I'm the guy that didn't build a team, right?
hmm.
Like I
Yeah. Yeah.
struggled with team members, which is why my body's the way it is. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to go learn sales. Not easy.
It's true.
Not easy at all.
Yeah. It's almost as challenging or more challenging than doing the actual sales yourself if you're not good at it, but
Mhm.
necessary depending on the route you want to go if you want to grow the business. And I'm glad you mentioned the clipboard stuff and the paper and pen because I actually feel like that psychologically, there's no studies to back this up per se, but just from my experience, I'd say imagine two scenarios. Scenario one, where you start asking questions, like, I just have a couple questions for you, but you have nothing in your hands, not even notating, not even writing anything down. You just start asking questions. A few things go through my mind as a customer. When is this going to end? How many fucking questions does this guy have? And does he even care? He's not even writing any of this down or anything like that. If you have a clipboard or a piece of paper or something and you're just checking things off, something like that, first off, it seems more official to me. It seems like, oh, okay, based on my answers, we're actually getting to something that is prescribed just for me. But number two, even if there's 2 or 3 pages on the clipboard, I know there's an end in sight. And halfway through, as a good salesperson, you could be like, just have a couple more questions. Thank you so much for your answers. They've been great answers so far. And then you
Mhm.
continue. But as a customer, my guard is down because I'm like, okay, there's an end in sight. This isn't going to be an all day thing. You know what I mean?
And it should be done early, right? We'll use a
Yeah.
bunch of analogies from this weekend, right?
All right.
Did you
Perfect. Yeah.
go out to the putt putt?
No.
No. Okay. You keep walking past the putt putt, and there's a little sports bar
Okay.
where you can do the shuffleboard, you can play the
Okay. I saw that
foosball,
one. Yeah.
play
Yeah.
pool. You went to that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I must have walked
You have to walk
through the.
past
Yeah.
the right, and it tells you sports bar up here, around the corner, almost
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
last one. It says just around the
Just
corner.
around the corner.
And then you get around the corner and you go,
Yeah.
oh, I still got to walk all the way up and around over there. But right, they got
Yeah.
me off of the other path. They
And then now.
marketed me to join.
Yeah.
They retouched base with me about 10 feet later, right? Hey, you're getting it,
That's.
right? So to your point, right?
Yeah.
If you struggle with questions, it's got to be something just quick to give them. Don't say, how's your day? That's a terrible one.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
does that, right?
Yeah.
Something that's different to catch their attention. And then as you get into those questions, you got to, in a sense, back up
Yeah.
what you're saying. You got to get the people past putt putt and you got to get them to the bar,
Yeah.
right? So you got to tell me I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Yeah.
you're almost there, right? We're almost to the point where I can write you that prescription, right?
It's
I
true.
can meet that need for you. I just have a couple more. Of course.
Exactly. And once we
Do
get
you
them
have
done,
time? Do you have
yeah, it lets
time
them
for
know
that?
it's for their benefit as well,
Yeah.
right? It's I'm asking these questions not for me. It's not going in a random
Mhm.
database to be stored away forever. It's for you. It's, to get the right
And
solution
ask for
for
their
you.
opinion. Ask their permission. Do you have time?
Yeah.
And you get them saying yes. You get them talk. All right. You
Yeah,
know how it
yeah.
goes.
That's
So
the
this is a
oh
part of
yeah,
that sales process that everybody has to
absolutely.
learn.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And sales can be fun too. And I think it should be. Like I remember one time I was coaching, there was a big retailer, they sell dresses. And anyway, I'm working for them. This was like a consult, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago at least. But anyway, working for them, and they were having trouble with increasing their ticket sales.
Hmm.
And so I said, okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend a couple days here, and I'm just going to observe things. And they said, so we have to pay you just to like sit around and watch stuff? And I said, well, you don't have the answers of where your gaps are. So yeah, you do. So I stayed. There was 3 days. Within, honest to God, within 24 hours, though, I already knew what the issue was. They had two problems. One, the staff waited until people were already halfway in the store before they approached them because they wanted to create a welcoming environment where you weren't just instantly hit with a salesperson. The second thing is most of the people that came in there were either couples or men on their own that were looking for a gift for somebody. And I said, so okay, you got two problems here. When it's a couple and they come in, the husband's goal is get the fuck out of there as soon as possible, right? If he's coming in alone, he's lost, not sure what to get, all these things, and he's having to walk 50 feet before he reaches someone. It's intimidating for him, and he feels like he's walking into a trap. He doesn't know where the end is. So I said, you don't want to hit them with sales right away. I agree. So I said, here's what I want you to do and try this out for a week. So just 7 days, see if you like it. I'm sure it's going to work. As soon as they walked in the door, they had a salesperson at the front, and they said, hey guys, I just want to tell you, we got this crazy promotion going on right now. If you look around the store, you get to try on anything in this store for free. Change rooms are at the back. There's a comfortable seating area for your husband. Just that. And right away, they're like, ah, ha, 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 we get to try on everything for free. Like, obviously, but it put in their mindset that
Hmm.
we have all this stuff. I'm here to help, but I'm not here to sell. Boom,
Hmm.
go. Now they're in there. Once they're
And there's
in,
a place for your husband. I think I
exactly.
love seeing this now. I saw it in Brazil. We're seeing it
Yeah.
now, even here in Oklahoma. Some stores now having beer available for the husband,
So
so he can
smart.
just chill, hang out,
Just
drink some
chill.
beers,
Take your
and
time, honey. Like
yep.
whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Address that pain point, take it away, and now boom, the wife's got time to try stuff on. He's like, "Oh yeah, it looks great." Yeah, yeah.
So when listeners hear stories like that, I hope they can also understand and see things like that. I wonder, and I also hope at the same time that they go, how can I implement this?
Mm,
Right?
yeah.
What
It,
and how can I do this? How can I make it to where something's easier for people and still I make more money, getting higher ticket
yeah,
sales, more
yeah,
sales, fill in the
yeah.
blank.
Absolutely. And I'd say it comes with a few things. I'd say the first thing is we have to understand if you want to master sales, for example, you have to understand what mastering something is to start with. And a lot of people get I'd say scared. There's a fear there, right? Like you have to almost be good day one. But if you think about it, how long did it take you to tie your shoes? Like it takes most of us probably like 2 weeks when you first learn how to tie your shoes, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And let me make sure we're heading.
In the right
I,
direction, sure.
is
Fair.
that is that what in my detailing business can it be? We will in the sales, but I mean under that premise of what we just talked about, like they made it easy for the husband,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then they opened up the door for bigger sales tickets, right? Like,
Yeah,
hmm,
100%.
I
And that
wonder if there's an actual specific tie-in in detailing. I wonder if listeners can think of something in their own business that they go, wonder if I could make something a little easier for my customers to do business with me.
yeah,
Hmm.
100%. And there's a lot of things. I would say the first thing is back to the prescription selling side of things, talking to your customer and just asking questions about their life, building a profile about them to find out. You got to narrow down what services may apply to them first because you got to know what you could be selling to them because you could be the best salesperson in the world, but if you're selling that's completely something left field that I don't need this at all in my life, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's an uphill battle. You got to try to narrow down what types of products they may or may not be interested, what types of services.
what their pinpoint is, what their pain point,
Absolutely.
what is it that they need.
Exactly. Once you've got that narrowed down, it's really just going to come to.
And that can be right. Like, just because we talk about all these different types of sales with things that you could sell, right? Your
Mhm.
service, selling your service, selling your
Yeah.
maintenance program, selling the chemicals for them to take care of, selling
Yeah.
chemicals in general, right? Like, you've got a
Yeah.
bunch of different things that you can
Absolutely.
sell your customer. No matter what you're selling,
Hmm.
it starts with questions to find the pain point.
100%. Like a great question that I guarantee you 90% of detailers aren't asking right now, that if they just ask that one question could change the trajectory of a lot of things in their business, is what do you do in between visits?
Mhm.
Between your details at our shop or between our visits to your house, what do you do with your car?
First time customer, how have you cleaned your car in the past? What do you
Absolutely.
do in between those appoint right? Like,
Yeah. Because
getting
knowing,
how do you drive during the week? What do you,
yeah,
yeah,
like, what are you
you
putting this
do.
car through? And then
Hmm.
that way, that A opens up the door for, okay, we have this line of products for you to do at home in between visits. It also opens the door for, okay, so you come every 3 months. Do you find that your car is maybe feeling a little more dirty than you want it to be after a month and a half? Well, we have these maintenance packages that are going to keep it that great feeling, excuse me, all year round. There's all those kinds of answers now that you can add to your prescription that are the solution for whatever their illness is. And
Hmm.
so it starts with asking those right questions, but you have to learn to master that. And how do you master something? Just like tying your shoes.
Repetition. Yeah.
Exactly. Repeatedly fail until it becomes something that you can do in your subconscious, right? It has to be something that you just have this ability. Like I could untie my shoe right now and tie it right back while I'm looking at you. I don't have to look down and, okay, loop, swoop, pull. I don't have to, there's none of
That's
that. I
pretty
just,
impressive, Shawn.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I can do the left and the right.
Chew gum at the same time.
I do. It makes me think of Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. I wipe my own ass. I wipe my own ass too. The best. But yes, I can do it while chewing gum. Thank you. But yes, so becoming a master at anything, as much as we all like the before and afters and the glorified, shiny pics, we all want to master our service side of things, but you also have to master the sales side of things. And that comes with just repeatedly doing it time and time again when you're bad at it until you get good at it.
And that's the rub, right?
That
That's
is,
the back and forth. To
yeah.
any of us that have gotten sold something and they got bad service, we go, ugh.
Yeah.
Some of us that have had incredible service and it's been awesome,
Yeah.
right? And you go, wow,
And,
that was a steal.
yeah. Yeah.
What a great experience.
Yeah.
You go,
Yeah.
well, it wasn't a steal. You actually paid. Then you go, oh
Yeah.
shit, I didn't. I mean, that was great,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't
I
matter,
was
right?
wowed by it. Doesn't
The
matter
the
what it
the,
is. Yeah.
the number goes out the window. The
It's true.
experience, and this is what
Yeah.
so this is why we said we were going to talk a lot about it today, because we wanted to
Yeah.
go back and forth. This is a fun part, right? Shawn is definitely a far better salesman than I am. Like,
Oh,
you are.
thanks, man. Yeah.
You're a better salesman than me. I don't know of your service side, but I'm going to say, listen,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to put my
Yeah.
service up against yours, anybody, right? Like, I
I
don't know. I
usually I
just know
usually
that
just
you're
put the polisher on and then I put a blindfold on and just kind of wing it. That's it. Why not? But then I put on a lifetime guaranteed
you're
warranted
good to go,
coating. Yeah,
right?
good to
Like,
go, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
So that's the fun part of today, is like back and forth of,
Mhm.
Shawn definitely, if you want to learn incredible, I mean, you just already talked about specific things that would make people a lot of money if they just incorporate that into talking to somebody.
Yeah,
Right? Few
100%.
people will give you that information. The information I want to pass on the
Mhm.
back side of that, and yes, I'll
Right?
piggyback. We can do exactly that,
Yeah, yeah.
because those of us that are great at service, not that Shawn's not, but those of us that do pride ourselves in service, and people will come here getting what they right, and we want that satisfied customer out the door. those people down there that oversell and underdeliver, those dudes, right?
Yeah. Fuck.
Tell me if I ate conch, but it didn't. Like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
they said all day, all night. I go, hell yeah, let's go. Wait, it's a family friendly place. That's not true.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
That's
imagine if everybody was eating that conch salad?
yeah, yeah.
Come on, guys. Like, can we all look around and go, if it didn't happen to me, it didn't happen to everybody else. I mean, they're serving a lot of conch salad.
Yeah,
Plus,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
get it right next to beer. I mean,
If that was the case,
that was the case,
that
right?
would be
Like,
their biggest export. That
yeah.
would be
Like,
yeah, it would be
oh.
get it at
Okay, well, that
Walgreens.
didn't work. That was the very first thing. The next day, oh, what you tell me here, I can't. Oh, well, that did. Oh, well, this. And I got down this slippery slope of, wow, once you start to under deliver on your promise,
Hmm.
right? You start telling the customers you're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get a lifetime. That's a big word there. Maybe it's two
Yeah,
words, depends on what part of the country you're in and how you pronunciate things. I get it. 5 years, 7 years, these are big long-term things.
yeah,
The companies that just opened up years ago, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and already have a 5, 7 year. We didn't release a 5 year until we'd been in business over 5 years.
yeah,
Magic. No, not
yeah,
magic.
yeah. Not magic.
Like,
That's the thing.
no,
'Cause people don't understand the
service,
basic math of
right?
it. You know?
I'm a service based guy. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm the guy that's going to believe in what he says. I'm not going
mhm.
to oversell something. I've never been that guy. Hated those guys. Don't hate Shawn. Shawn doesn't oversell. But we
Absolutely
can
no.
all know that feeling of the people that oversell you, and then you just go, oh,
Yeah,
right? So I
yeah,
never wanted to be somebody that you looked and thought of me and go, man, that guy got one over on me. Well, shit.
yeah.
No, no,
I've never wanted to be that guy.
no.
Yeah,
When I cleaned cars, when I had my detailing business, when I did my car wash, when I do it now, right? The
yeah,
chemicals, every part of business that I've tried to do, and it didn't matter what style of business, it was always about the service. If somebody pays
yeah,
me for something, I'm going to give them what they paid for. It
yeah.
seems simple. And those of
100%.
us that are going, yes, then we're on one side. There's
Yeah.
other people that are going, well, yeah, you got to sell them to get them there. And I go, yep. And this
Yeah.
is when you go into any dealership, the sales and the service. Who fights the most?
Yeah.
Service always fighting with how much over promising did the sales team do?
Yeah. Because they don't have to deal with the repercussions. For them, it's just I met my quota, I got my commish,
Listen, the
I'm
sales
good.
guy, he stopped responding to my emails.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
So he has zero repercussions. Fucking
zero.
doesn't even
Exactly.
respond before I even get there, let
Absolutely.
alone once I'm there.
It's
Like,
true. And because so many businesses struggle with sales, any decent sales guy could just go pick up a next job somewhere else because,
mhm.
hey, I know they're struggling. I oversell, sell, 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 sell. It's
How
the
much
service
now
guy.
is if big companies like this are just going to outsource that,
It's true.
right?
That's true.
A
Absolutely.
Salesforce, right? Isn't that a
Yeah.
salesforce.com or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? There's plenty of these type that, they're just there to sell.
Yeah.
That's
It's
all they're
true.
concerned about. They
It's
have
true.
no basis to even think about service. It's not their
Yeah.
job. Their job is to sell and put numbers on the board.
Yeah. And it's so much more than that. And that's where
Well, it
like
is, but that's still important. We
it's
gotta
still
we gotta
important.
stay on your side. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is the sales and marketing side of the
Well,
business. I don't mean to take
true.
it or of the
But
episode.
here's
I
what I
I
would
don't
say
mean to
though.
take it over. I'm
No, no,
just
no, for
always want
sure.
to say, like, you do need to sell,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm the guy that wants them to be, equal. I
Because
want to.
it's the way you sell. So for example, there were other platforms out there on the market that I could have implemented into Auto World easily. The reason we chose to build our own was because of the gaps and the voids in the other ones. So essentially, there's platforms out there that some people use, like Go High Level and stuff, which is good at managing leads, but that's kind of where it stops. And to me, I look at it like the service center versus the sales team in a dealership, where you've got one side that's just they want to put those numbers up on the board. But then after those numbers are on the board, they don't give a shit about what happens afterwards. And so OrbisX, even though it falls in the CRM realm, I actually call it a CEM because it's a customer experience management
Ooh.
platform. And the difference there is CRM, customer relationship management. The only reason they threw in relationship is because it's just about building that
They couldn't
initial
say sales. People
contact.
wouldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Customer
people
sales
wouldn't,
management is what it should say. You're
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. And people would be like, oh, I don't want that. It's too
Oh,
salesy. But when it's relationship, they're like, oh, great. But it's only building that first date. It's not building the whole
I always
rest of
thought
the
it was
pieces.
retention, customer retention management,
I
because I'm the service guy.
because I'm the service guy.
Like I literally have always people always just say CRM. I've never, and then you
Yeah,
said that. I go, wait, I
yeah,
thought it was
it's like,
retention. I thought it was a
oh
way to
shit.
keep your customers. Like,
Yeah, no, they don't try and retain. They just try and sell.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. And so for me, I wanted something different because for us, the sales side is really important. But the reason that we've grown so much at AutoWorld is simply because what we're selling and what we deliver are and have always been on par, or we over deliver with the service side. So our sales are really good. They've been buttoned up. They're great. But the other side of things, we still have to, it needs that foundation behind it. So just because we can bring in customers, if we want to build a business, truly build a business, we have to have both components working hand in hand, which means my sales guys can't be promising something to a customer and then, oh shit, well, yeah, sorry, we actually can't do that. Or,
uh,
you know,
can we go ahead and just say that 99.5,
all
point
right.
nine
Point 0.9. All right.
of detailers don't have salespeople?
Mm,
They don't. I
true.
don't think we would ever trust somebody, and then most of us would go, "Well, I'm not going to pay somebody that.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
got to
true.
pay them how much? I'm not going to
Yeah,
do
because
that."
sales is going to be one of your highest expenses in terms of labor. Absolutely, hands
Yeah,
down.
so they don't have sales team. They don't
Yeah,
have
and
salespeople.
the other side of that too is I see this a lot where people want to structure the pay for that in an hourly format. Well, if they're going to be doing sales, I want to pay them X amount per hour. Any good salesperson worth their weight in gold should be more heavily on the commission side, and it's going to be a high commission. Absolutely. But what they're going to do, a good salesperson, they're going to feel compensated, they're going to be dedicated, devoted, and they're going to see that sale through. If you're paying them hourly, what investment do they really have to give a shit
They're
about
just
anything?
collecting a check.
Absolutely. So pay them the base, whatever minimum wage is that you have to pay them if you're going to go that route. Better yet, if you can put them salary, that's even better. Salary employees, I've always found produce better. They produce higher results. You almost get like 1.5 employees for the price of one, in my opinion. That's what I found because they're more dedicated. They're not so much focused on how much they're doing per hour or not. They're going to push harder, but we make sure our commission structure is high regardless of the position because we want them to have some skin in the game. We want them to get faster, get better, produce better results, whether it's sales or service. If they're just getting paid hourly, they get paid the same whether they do an outstanding job or they do just good enough. So that's what I found is that you might take a hit in the beginning initially compared to what you think you want to take home. But in the long run, you're going to actually double, triple, quadruple your sales when you take that route. So it's up to you, but that's how I recommend structuring it. That being said, you can't have sales guys or girls that are just doing whatever it takes to make a sale. That's no good in any capacity. They have to be making promises that actually are based on what you can deliver. And those of you that are struggling to get 5-star reviews, I would argue it has to do with the disconnect between your sales promises and your service deliveries based on the expectations. Because customers are going to come in with their own expectations. Your job in the forefront, the front line, the salespeople is to manage those expectations, adjust them if needed, set realistic ones, and then add in your own as well to let the customer know what else they can expect that they hadn't thought of. But if the disconnect there, if those expectations are super high, it's the equivalent of me telling my daughter, "Oh yeah, Christmas is coming. Yeah, and I know you really want a pony, so we're gonna get you a pony." And she's expecting a real horse because that's what I bigged it up as. And then Christmas Day, she opens it up and there's a little toy My Little Pony that's 2 inches tall. Hi, she's gonna be crying. Roundabout way of saying that you have to have your expectations that you're promising the customer on the sales side match up with what you're actually going to deliver. And if you're promising the customer, yeah, we've got this coating and it's used by NASA and it's what they used for the space shuttle to get to the moon and it's going to block asteroids and all kind of shit, and then they go and it fails after 3 months or something, obviously they're not going to be happy with that and they're going to come back. The sales guy doesn't care because he's not going to have to deal with it. It's the service center that's going to have to deal with it.
So that makes me remember back to one of the sales classes. I actually did attend classes also. I mean, I had to really invest into learn how to do
Yeah,
sales, right?
I still do. This year alone, I'm spending about
Oh,
$80,000 on,
yeah.
oh, the
Well, I
year
didn't
coming,
spend, huh,
2025. I heavily
but
invest in. Yeah, yeah,
sure. And I'm not right.
yeah,
Nick's
yeah.
much better at sales than I am, right?
Okay,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah,
very good
yeah.
salesman.
He's yeah,
And so he takes care of most of that now. So I can focus on, I'm better at, like I said, service,
yeah. But
better
that's
at making
perfect.
chemicals. So I'm going to do that and he's going to do what
Yeah.
he's good at. And one of the things that we definitely have learned through it is when you talk to somebody, right? Because I think so many people are confused.
Hmm.
Somebody calls, right? We get an email,
Yeah.
fill in the blank, right? A text, something.
Okay.
I think we're all still confused on what do I say?
Hmm. I would say, what do you ask? That would be where I would start. First
And,
off,
and
yeah,
that's what Nick, right? Nick is the same as you. That's why I keep saying both of you
yeah,
guys are incredible and much better at sales. Nick's always the same thing. You ask questions, you ask questions, you ask
yeah,
questions.
yeah,
Like it we said it earlier.
yeah.
Ask questions, but still people get to this moment and I keep coming back to it because I've talked to plenty of people that, man, I'm great at what I do. I don't understand why there's not more people coming in my door.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, a good,
Questions.
yeah. Questions are the biggest one, honestly, and that's where I'll go. I'll go right back to the prescription selling. It's the best thing. Finding out, like, if you go to the doctor's office, what brings you in here today? That question right there, like, there's a reason why
Not
doctors
how
ask
was
that.
your day?
Yeah,
Good.
because like,
Yours? Good.
like we don't know each other. Obviously, you're not going to just start being, well, actually, my day's kind of shit. My this happened to my dog, and I didn't do the laundry today, and like they're not going to get
I
into all.
started blowing through those questions now. I call somebody, they go, how's your day? Here's what I need.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, right to it. What the
Jump
fuck
right
else
to
are we
it.
here to do?
Exactly. Like, because if a customer calls you, they're expecting sales. They're expecting the customer experience. They're expecting all of that stuff, the customer service. They're not calling you because I need a friend. They're not phoning I need someone to talk to. No, they're calling you because they've got their own questions. While you have answers, you don't know what they want yet.
And if I'm calling somebody and they're stuttering or they're going, well, hold on a second.
Yeah, it's a
Mm-mm,
see ya. Because
mm-mm,
I have other
right?
calls I can make. There's
And,
other
hold
numbers.
on, I'm handling this customer. Hold on, my dog. Hold on this. Hold on that.
Yeah, no.
There ain't
That's
no
what
holding on.
That's where
Like,
the first thing you got to do, and I'll say that too, is I've heard it, I don't have time, like I'm detailing this car and this and that. So you haven't set the expectation with your customer for the appropriate amount of time for you to do the detail and sales at the same time. Because when I was detailing cars with my wife at the shop, we would be there, we'd be halfway through a detail, and I'd stop and I'd be like, hey, I need you to take care of this real quick. Boom, boom, boom. I'm handling a message. I'm talking to someone on the phone, whatever the case may be. And no, I'm not answering it right in the shop. And there's the tornadors going and all kinds of shit. I walk outside for a second so the compressor's not on. And I say, hey, yeah, thanks for calling Auto World. How can I help you today? And what are you looking for? Oh, well, I was wondering what kind of tin percentage you have and this and that. You just dive right into it, but it's got to be done in a professional way. And so we manage all our details still take the same time. We've refined it down to an hour and 6 minutes on average. We tell the customer your vehicle will be ready in 3 to 4 hours. The reason is to allot in case some shit happens, in case we got to move their car around to get another car pushed out sooner or whatever the case may be, or we get tied up with a customer because we want to give them that attention because it's better for us to call a customer and say, hey, I know we told you 3 or 4 hours and it's only been 2.5. Your car is actually ready for pickup. That's a lot better. And that creates those 5-star experiences versus, yeah, your car will be ready in an hour. And then the guy's calling you after 2 hours and he's like, hey, is my shit not done yet? Because he now budgeted for an hour because that's what we promised him. But if we promised them 3 or 4 hours during the sales process, they're expecting 3 or 4 hours. Now, if they tell us, well, 3 or 4 hours, I really can't cut it. I got to do XYZ. That's up to us now. We can manage those expectations. We can say, well, listen, we can.
What time do you have to have it done by? What's the
Another
latest?
question.
Let's see what we can do. Give me a
Exactly.
second, man. Let me go back. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, 100%. There's been
Right?
times, as weird as it is, we
That's
ask those
done at
questions.
that's done at it. Let me go talk to my manager. Let me go
Yeah,
see what I can do.
exactly.
Right? That's
Absolutely.
done all the time. That's an easy
All the
sales
time.
line. Okay,
Yeah.
well, what do you need to make this happen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go see what I can do.
Absolutely. We've
Just
we've
turns
had
out we
customers.
can get it done. God damn it.
Look at that. We've had customers pick up a half finished vehicle because they had to go pick up their kid at school, drop them off at home, and bring the vehicle back. And then we finish the other half. We've had that happen many times. It's normal. Life gets in the way of things, right? But if you manage that process and you just talk to the customer, ask them questions, that's a perfect one. Oh, I need this. Customers bark orders all the time. I need this. I expect this, whatever. Ask them why. Why that? Why that? Why are you calling us? Why'd you take time out of your day? It's Monday afternoon. Why'd you call us on a Monday afternoon? Is it that you want this done by the weekend? Is it this, that? Just ask them questions and you're going to find out. But it starts with that initial one, I think, which if it's a new customer, what brings you in today? Or what's the reason for your call today? What are you looking for exactly? What are you expecting? And just jump right into it. I agree. I don't think starting with the whole, like, well, how's your day going? All this banter, chit chat. First off, it makes it sound like you don't really have shit going on, that you just have
Yep.
all the time in the world to talk to
Yep.
me. Like, so right away, I'm like, geez, this guy must not be very busy. But when you're straight to the point, it's like, yeah, thanks for calling. How can I help you today? You call a pizza shop straight away. They're like, yeah, what can I get for you? Oh, yeah, I was looking for two large. What do you want on it? It's one question after the next to
Bingo.
just move you through
Bingo.
the cycle. And
That's a
then
great
part of that's,
analogy. That's a
yeah,
perfect analogy.
thanks. Yeah, yeah. Because you see it all the time out there. If you just look at your purchase patterns, you'll see the sales process in action. I agree. Reading books, listening to audiobooks, reading stuff online, it's all good. And you're going to learn things. Attending conferences is good as well. Role playing is probably the best, in my opinion, if you can. But aside from that, just analyze your life. When you go buy stuff, take a look at the sales process. If you're next in line, watch the sales dynamic between the two people in front of you. What kind of questions are they asking? How did that transaction go? How did the customer react? So on and so forth. It's all right there in front of you in real time. You could even just walk into a random store and just observe things. Go into a dealership, see how they treat you, what kind of questions they ask you. You know what I mean? You'll get a good vibe for it. So I think that whole mastery thing is, it just comes from practice. And
All
you got.
right. Question.
All right. Yes, sir.
You're a young guy, you're starting out and listen to this episode and you're basically going, wait, I've got to do one or the other.
All right.
Which direction are you going? Mastery of sales, mastery of the service.
Oh man. If I'm just starting out, which tells me not many clients, I'm going mastery of sales. 100%.
And then you will build your packages around the type of service that you have good quality and you're able to sell so that your customers don't feel oversold, right?
100%. 100%. And
So
what I would
if
do,
you're great at sales, that doesn't mean you're also great at paint correction and high end PPF and high
100%.
end detailing and all this. There's no
100%.
way. There's just
100%.
no way.
And you know what I would do?
So, right,
Yeah.
if you want to focus on the sales, then you need to get those cars in and out, and you need to
Yeah.
have
Big time.
quick packages, quick
Yep.
things that people aren't really concerned so much
Yeah.
about. I'm not saying you don't do quality work. Don't
Yeah.
misunderstand me.
Absolutely. Quality work, but
It's still
focus on the,
quality work,
yeah.
but they're okay with the car wash, right?
Yeah.
Not that you're a car
100%.
wash, right? But they're okay with not having and just
100%.
getting the good maintenance, good wash.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people. You have a lot, right?
I agree.
A lot of people that can have a very successful business just handling the maintenance, just
Yeah.
cleaning people's cars. If you're
100%.
great at sales and you want to focus on sales, you do have to trade a little bit early on.
Hmm.
As you gain years and you get plenty of people, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But if we're starting
In the
out year
beginning.
1 to 2, in a sense,
Yeah.
one employee that I'm wanting to bring on, do I bring somebody on and let them sell for me, or do I bring somebody on that needs to learn how to do the service so that I can go do
I
the
can
selling?
continue selling. Yeah. And that's where I think that would come
Mm.
down to. I think what it should come down to actually is not even what you're better at necessarily, but what you want to do.
Mm.
And the reason I say this is because whatever you want to do, you can, even if you're not great at it today, you can be great at it tomorrow. I was not always good at sales. I was actually an introvert. Well, I still am pretty much an introvert. I don't like public speaking, but I've done it many times and I can do it. I don't like I don't even like being in front of the camera or stuff like that. But I've become accustomed to it. I've been on TV several times. I've done things where I had to be in a
I hated
where,
small talk.
yeah,
I'm
oh,
not a small talker. I can't go into a room
but
and
that's
just,
so important for
hey, how's it
sales.
going,
Oh,
man? Hey,
yeah, yeah,
dude, what do you think about yeah, the game? What do you think
yeah,
about the
yeah.
game?
What do you
Which
think about the
game?
game? Yeah, which game? Oh, fuck.
The
Wasn't
game.
ready for that question. Yeah, the game. The one that was on yesterday or the day before.
How's your
It's
team
true.
doing?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, well,
Right. I play golf. Shit.
Like, oh, fuck. I don't know shit about golf. I'm the same way, but it is important for sales to develop those kinds of skills. And that's where I had to develop them. So I became good at it to the point that I ended up liking it. But there's other things in business that I enjoy more. And that's like, I enjoy setting up our marketing campaigns and stuff like that. So that's where I put a lot of my focus. And then the sales side of things, I've been able to, okay, let me hire a team and train them on how to do it. Because I know how to do it, but I didn't want to
You
focus on
just
it, right?
opened up a little can there, Shawn.
Oh, I have a tendency to do that.
Oh, I think some people went marketing. Yeah. Hold on. That's sales.
Ah, very different actually. Yeah. I know people often say sales and marketing as if it's one thing. Sales and marketing, two separate things, are very different. It's similar species, but very different in a lot of ways. So
Do you remember from your sea lion experience what the difference between a seal and a sea lion is?
yes, I do actually. So the main difference was it the front flippers or the bottom ones. One of them doesn't have claws, and size obviously is different too. But one of them, I think the sea lion doesn't have claws on their.
You were told something different. Their process and procedure for yours is different than
Oh
mine.
shit, really? Ours, it was all about the fins. That's what it is, the
Nope.
fins.
Ours was all about the ears.
Oh
Seals don't have
shit.
the ears. Sea lions, you can see the little ears.
Damn. Okay, they didn't tell us that at all. Us, it was one had because it was when her name was Canella when she was swimming near us. He said, "Careful for her feet, but you don't have to worry about her arms or whatever, her fins, because she doesn't have claws like seals do. But seals have them on both sides or something like that." He didn't tell us anything about the ears.
Mm.
Interesting. Huh. Wow, very interesting. See, we went on. So, for those of you that don't know, Marshall and I went to the same place, different times, but we both went to this place called Atlantis in the Bahamas. We both had very different, yet in some ways similar experiences. You're
So
like,
I was like, this is the greatest place
difference
ever.
and
And I'm like, I'll
understatement.
never go back.
Yeah, yeah. We really enjoyed our trip. Yeah. And Marshall's experience was very much different. And I was bigging it up. I was like, man, that place was amazing.
So Shawn got humped
And
by a sea lion. He seemed to enjoy it.
it's because I had the conch salad, though. That's and apparently so did she. I was ready for anything. Yeah, yeah. You're asking me the difference. I didn't see her ears. Just
Lights were off. What are you talking about?
yeah, yeah, exactly. We all look the same,
We were
feel the same.
underwater. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What can I tell you? She made me hold my breath. But so yeah, we had very different experiences. But the one thing that was common amongst both of our trips is that we were sold something that didn't quite live up to the brochure or the pamphlet or the promo video or the website that said paradise in every second sentence. And beautiful hotel, beautiful grounds, food was amazing. Aside from that, there were a lot of things that were
Once you unpack it,
once
right?
you
Once
yeah,
you unpack it, and once that ball, and it's sort of why we always love to give analogies or here's what's happened in our world, and pass on the information, because
yeah,
once a customer starts down a path,
yeah,
I, I've
That's
had a
the path.
started an experience that
Yeah.
isn't going exactly as promised. You know, those dominoes begin to keep falling that way. The ball rolls that way,
And
right?
then they
The
just
water's
fall
going
and
to go to
fall
the
and
least
fall.
passive resistance.
Yep.
So then what happens if you sell somebody this gigantic package and it's, well, then they can start. And this
It's
is what
true.
I've always
True.
remembered
True.
about the
Yeah.
customers that are the most picky. We're also like, once they
Yeah.
start,
Hmm.
right, they have to have a reason to be picky. Let's start there,
True. Yeah.
right?
It's true.
I have to have felt
It's
that there was a
past
big push to
experience
get me to
or
here, and now
yeah.
I'm here. I okay, I've got to have it. That's
Yeah.
a different feeling than okay, cool. This could happen. Okay, great. Okay, or this, got it. Let's hope for this. Like, yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get you here, right? If you do this, and then this will happen. This is what's gonna do, right? Cool.
Mhm.
Oh, great. If it doesn't work out, to your point about prescription, right?
Yeah.
I can always come back to go, well, here's might of what have happened, which is
Yeah.
great to help in a customer service situation where somebody's not happy. If you can
Yeah.
give a might of what could have happened, that allows people off the hook and we can kind of have some easy moments. But if
Yeah.
you're so staunch that you did this and no, I sold you, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and we
then
see
it
that a lot
starts
in the
down that
groups, right?
trail.
Where they're like, "Oh, the customer said this. What do you think I should do? Did I do something wrong?" and stuff like that. If you're even questioning it, the next phone call you should make is to that customer. Be like, "Hey, listen, had some time to reflect. Clearly, we made some promises that you were unhappy with. We didn't meet your expectations. What could we have done that would have put a smile on your face and made things better? And what can we do starting right now?"
But that almost is
Those
always, once again, it
questions.
goes back to what you and we joked that I told you before we got on. It's like, Shawn, I'm coming after you, right? Like,
Yeah.
is part of the sales service, right? Like,
True.
well, if you
Yeah.
didn't oversell them at the
Yeah.
first, we wouldn't have to be here now,
True. And
right?
then sometimes it's if you didn't deliver on the service side, then the sales because that happens too sometimes where
It's about time you push back. Jeez. Golly, you just
you're
kept
like,
taking
oh,
it
he
to
must
the
have had some
kidney. You
conk. He found
kept
his
taking
butt.
the side shots and some uppercuts, but you
Yeah.
never hit back. Thanks.
I
You're
waited till
right.
the
You're
eighth
right.
round.
You
And then
do have to perform, right? You do
yeah,
have to take your conch and actually, you know,
put it down. Yeah. Brown chicka brown. Yeah, that's twice same episode. But that part is important, and I think it's something overlooked as well. Is that sometimes, especially in like departments that are split or teams, for example, it's more common where there's a disconnect there. If you're the same person selling and doing the service, there's less disconnect because you're aware of what you sold and what you said.
we don't oversell at that point. I think we have more of a
Yeah.
subconscious of, hey, I know this isn't, I want to say most of us.
Yeah. Because there's some
There
people
are
that are,
some, right?
yeah.
We can let's literally start going through and we can start, you can see them on social
Yeah.
media groups. You can see them out there. I think Nick, my partner, just talked about on a recent episode with us with some guy that was so big on social media, but just recent, like literally this month, the
Yeah.
feds invaded him. They
Oh,
they
shit.
confiscated stuff, right? Like
Damn. Yeah.
the once the show starts, the show has to.
Yeah. Go on. Go
It
on.
does. You're the
Doesn't
one
it?
that said it. I didn't
Yeah.
say it. You're the salesman. And you salesmen always go, once the show starts, the show must
Must go
go
on.
on.
Yeah.
But if I'm in the audience, I'm not happy that you guys effed up. You know?
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
happy you effed up. You told me that I was gonna get this, but
Yeah.
but I didn't get it. Now you just want me to endure it
Well, the
so
show
you
must
can
go
get
on.
your paycheck? The hell's that shit?
It's true. And that's where, so the first thing when we get calls, let's say, because we only get calls if something's escalated. So at Auto World, if something like, the text fucked up on something or customer's unhappy or whatever, we get a call, quick breakdown. And first thing I ask them is, what three things did you try and fix on your own to make this right? And then if they're like, well, I only tried this. I'm like, well, try two more things and call me back. That's where we start first. That's just a little tip for people managing teams. But the second thing is, if they did try a few things to try and work it out with the customer, the first question we asked them is, where did you make a mistake in what the customer was expecting? Or the person that booked them in, what did they make a mistake in? And I want to know where the disconnect is, because that disconnect is the most important thing for your business that's hindering your 5-star reviews. And sometimes it's sales, and I would argue, even though I'm very much pro sales, even though I'm pro sales, I would argue that most of the time the disconnect is more likely on the sales side, because we have a very, very standard set of procedures for our service side. Occasionally, though, they do drop the ball. We had one guy we had to let go. He kept, I don't know why, but he kept forgetting to clean the trunks. No clue why. It was to the point we had to have somebody, every job he finished, go and shadow him, take care of the trunk. It was to that level. So that one we kind of anticipated. We found ways to fix it, but things will happen on the server side, but more often they'll happen the sales side. Those guys get excited. They know like, oh, I'm so close to, XYZ bonus. And so they push things a little harder than they should,
Oh
right?
yeah, you salespeople do that shit.
We have a tendency to do it from time to time, yes. But that being said, some of our most successful sales guys long term are the ones that, yeah, thanks, yeah, Sipsty. Yeah, some of our most successful sales guys aren't the ones that make those outlandish promises. They're actually the
Yeah,
ones that, because those
agreed.
sales, a lot of customers can read through the bullshit, especially
Yep.
nowadays more than ever. It's the guys that just come across as a genuine nice guy. They just explain things, get to know the customer.
The
Those guys
salespeople that
crush
are
it.
too salesy always have to keep coming up with something else to sell,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
why then you go from, this coding to this coding to this territory, and let me sell people a territory to let
yeah,
me sell this and and there's
yeah.
it's amazing, and
They're
we
always
can
fishing in a new
respect. We can
lake.
all look around to the coding industry, and
Yeah.
we can respect companies that have grown very large off of sales.
Hmm.
We can golf clap them and we can tip our hat to them. We go, great job. You guys worked your angle and you did it. I got
Yeah.
zero issues there. You as a company grew great. Wonderful. I can look at some of these companies that have exploded only off of sales, and
Mm.
I'll know that they won't be around.
Yeah.
For those of us that fall on the service side, we're always going to go. The long tail of business is actually doing what you say to people. That whole golden rule: doing to others if you'd had to do unto me, right? Like,
Yeah.
fucking great idea. I want to sell people. I want to be sold a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want some excitement when I
100%.
buy something. So I'm going to give that
Yeah.
excitement to some people when they buy some things. And I want to make sure when I buy something, it does what it says. So when I sell something, I want to make sure that it does
Does
what it
what it
says that
says.
I'm going to do. That's straight
Yeah.
line sales. That still the number one that everybody thinks is crazy is the straight line sales. Wolf on Wall Street. It's a crazy movie, but that premise, and then he wrote a book too. I mean, the premise of the Wolf
Yeah.
on Wall Street and direct selling, it is the best sales for me, for you. I think for most people that
Yeah.
don't want to be in sales, but we have to understand that you need sales, you need
Yeah.
marketing, you need these. So you can't
100%.
overpromise, right? Here's
Yeah.
the last, and I think we end on this, and let's
Hmm.
like you also have to have, if you sell something, a procedure put in place to make sure it happens, and that's the service side.
Yeah. 100%.
Inside of those procedures, in order to make sure that what was sold gets handled right, you have to put in procedures. That's the point of having the check sheets. That's
Yeah.
important of training your team. Like all that goes into then making sure that what is sold is done.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Like
that's where OrbisX with the checklists, crucial, because we've all been through drive through.
so the GD, right? Your
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Go ahead.
globe, you could
Yeah.
train it to give
Yeah.
you the right sales
100%.
questions. And
Yes.
then you will also then know how you can your services already tied in,
Yeah.
right? And you
Exactly.
start to see it all go, well, this is neatly, tightly packaged. This is a
Yeah.
great sales and marketing
Beautiful
platform.
ribbon on it. We're
Yeah.
good to go. Absolutely. Because the worst thing that can happen is, if like what happens when you go through drive through, someone forgets to put in your fries or the sauce you asked for or something like that. And that's people not following that checklist. And that happens a lot in businesses where you sell something, but if you don't have the foundation to back it up with the service side, that's where it becomes even harder to sell again and again. It becomes harder to sell to repeat customers. It becomes harder to close those deals. And that's where all the pieces need to match up, basically. And what you're creating is a process. So you got to take a look at your whole funnel and you got to say, okay, so at the front of my funnel, I've got my marketing. And this is where the difference comes in. You have your marketing, which is your ads, your publicity, your offline, your print stuff, your referral partners, whatever it happens to be. That then gets funneled into your sales. And your sales department or yourself, whoever's doing sales for the company, handles the leads that come in from the marketing. Then from those sales, you're going to close a percentage. Those then become your customers. And then the funnel starts to go the other way. And now you're doing back to sales again to those customers that came in before, as well as the ones that are coming in from your marketing. So it's more like an hourglass than a funnel where it's got both sides to it and you're handling both sides at the same time.
Salespeople only talk about the funnel, right? And
Yeah.
we'll say it forever. We did it amazing. What
Yeah.
months of episodes on building a funnel,
Building out the funnels. Yeah.
right?
It's the
But you're
other
right.
side of
Most
it
people
too.
only start there, but you're 100%
Yeah.
true. You're
And
correct.
that's absolutely, and that's where
More of an
capturing,
hourglass. Yeah.
yeah, see, exactly. And capturing that other side, that's where you get the 5-star reviews and this, and that, and all those pieces come together to further perpetuate your marketing, which further fills your funnel, which further goes to the salespeople, and it just becomes this well-oiled machine. But you need all the pieces all in one. So you can't have one without the other, and they both need each other. It's an ecosystem. That's what you're building. And that's what you have to focus on mastering. Whether that's mastering it yourself and figuring out those pieces. But a big piece of advice, and I have two final tips here. Big piece of advice is over the holidays, take a look at your packages and talk to some of your customers. Ask them questions. Write that prescription of what they want. Whatever you keep prescribing becomes what you are now selling and servicing. If you list your packages, everybody spends a lot of time making their packages. Oh, I want to make the perfect package and include this and that. Maybe half your customers don't care about half the stuff that you're listing in those beautiful bullet points. Maybe they don't care. So maybe you would make more money if you scaled back on some of that, made realistic promises and expectations in your sales cycle with your customer, and offer them exactly what they want. You're going to see that your job times go down, your customer experience is still top notch, your reviews are going up because it's faster now, and you just cut out some of the waste that nobody cared about. That's what we did at our shop. That's what we got our details down to an hour and 6 minutes. That's how we just cut out the stuff they didn't care about. So we're like, okay, no problem. Do we get some customers that do want that? Sure. In those cases, your car won't be ready in 3, 4 hours. We need your car for the whole day. Drop it off in the morning. We'll give you a loaner if you need it. Pick it up at the end of the day or the next morning in the key drop box, whatever you want to do. But reality is, we found out what our customers wanted by going through that prescription model process and then finding out, okay, this is what they want. The 3 to 4 hours is key as well for us, even though we can bang it out in an hour and 6 minutes because of this part two, which is going to be my tip for this holiday season. We love upsells. Upsells are great, but they only work well if you have that extra time. If we don't have that extra time, there is no room to upsell this guy because I have another appointment coming for
Mhm.
that technician. By the time he finishes, he's done his last wipe with the microfiber, the next car is rolling in. There's no time to upsell shit. But if I know it takes him an hour and 6 minutes on average, we've got 3 or 4 hours with that vehicle, we can upsell him. The vehicle's already there. We know we want it gone in 3 or 4 hours or less. We're not running a parking lot here. That's the other thing is a lot of you guys want to take cars and keep them for 4 or 5 days. It's crazy to me. I hope you're charging parking fees because that's nuts to me. If it works for your business, great, and that's fine. But I hope your ticket prices justify it for keeping it there that long. That being said, this is not me throwing shots at anybody because I love you all and I think everyone's business can work if it works for you. But my tip for this holiday season has to do with how to get more upsells. Once you've done your marketing, you've got the nail down. Once you've got your sales coming in and you're closing those deals, once you've got the vehicle there, now it's time to raise that ticket price. And so we're running a little game at our shop this year and this holiday season, and it's who can get the most no's. So we've got a scoreboard running, and we want to see who can get the most consecutive no's to upsells in a row. And the winner will get something. Obviously, there's prizes every week. But the goal is talk to every single customer about something. Try and sell them something. But just sell them in a nice way. The prescription method. You ask them questions about their vehicle, so on and so forth. The goal here, I see the confusion on your face. The goal here is because you're not going to get many no's. I'm telling you, it's a numbers game in a lot of ways, but people don't want to ask the questions. if you ask the right
So
questions.
the team member expects the no's, and the challenge is to get them to put no's on the board. But the
Absolutely.
questions are already designed so that
Yes.
they won't,
They
should
won't get
not get
no's.
no's.
Absolutely. So
Gotcha.
at the end of the
Gotcha.
week, and so what we take a look at is who is possibly getting no's. So okay, great. So we see this person, the highest one, let's say 4 in a row. We got to sit down, talk with that person. Like, what's going on? How was the process with? Maybe send one of
He's
the
like,
other
wait, I
guys to
thought I was
shadow
supposed
them.
to get no's.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I thought I won. Yeah. And technically, that's the rule of the game. That's how you win. Whoever gets the most no's. But the goal is more get them through the process of understanding that don't be scared of no. So we had a couple of guys that were, look, I'm upselling things and yeah, I'm offering them this and that, but like sometimes they just say no and like it kind of deflates me for the next one. But now when they're expecting a no, when they're just like, oh, if I get a no, it's actually a good thing, they're less scared of the no. And so they're willing to just ask questions. They're willing to just pursue the customer and say, listen, I got this quick little checklist. I know we got your car here. We did the intake. We've started the detail. We're going to be working on the tint next. But while I've got you here, I just had two questions. So they're going to be finishing up. What if we put on a year ceramic coating on there, blah, blah, blah. They're not asking that question directly, but they dive into things like, where do you park your vehicle usually? Is it outside? Is it next to a tree? Is it this, that? Do you use your car for work in terms of like for appearance sake? Is it important to you? Scale of 1 to 10. Where's the nearest car wash to your house? Do you prefer to use that in between cleanings or do you like to clean it yourself in your driveway? Stuff like that. We find out little things from them. Then, oh, great. Well, we have this product slick or, oh, actually, I don't like to use too much water. I care about the environment. Oh, perfect. We got this product called Eco One. There's a lot of things you can throw out there, but it all comes with asking those questions. But if you're scared of the no, you're not going to do anything. So you've got to turn it into a game where it's fun and you're like, I'm expecting no. I hope I get a no. But then through talking with them, now you're just so casual, you're so carefree, you're asking them questions, going through the process. You're going to be surprised how little times you actually win. You know, and so that's the whole trick. It's a psychological thing. We're doing it with our team right now, and it's working wonders. We also threw in a big one there, which is once the cleaning's done, you see it a lot where people are like, would you like to round up for whatever camp or whatever, this and that? We take a different approach. Would you like to round up for a gift card? And they're like, oh, I never thought of that. And it's like, oh, we can dump this amount plus we'll match you dollar for dollar on the gift card. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever it is. So we just boom, round up because with OrbisX, the cool thing is, yes, we have digital gift cards just like everybody does. But we also have the physical ones that are NFC based that you can tap and put in any amount you want and program. So we use those a lot. Boom, now they've got it. Reality is, most times people don't use them, but hopefully they do use them because that means you get another customer coming back. Isn't that fantastic? Like, I hear people say, "Oh, Shawn, how do you feel about expiration dates on gift cards?" I'm like, "Don't put it. I would never put an expiration date. It's not legal here, but if even if it was, never in a million years. I want them to come back. I hope they come back at some point sooner than 5 years. But reality is, if they haven't used it in 5 years, it's gone. It's in the crack of the couch that was now sold on Craigslist. Don't worry about it. But reality is, you want them to come back, don't you? I would assume so. Isn't that what we're all doing here? But anyway, so that's my tip for the holiday season is see who can get the most no's in a row. And so try it out, test it out, and let me know how many no's you get in a row, and maybe I'll pick a winner and do something crazy. So yeah, why not? You know?
Not about the hose, ho ho hose, but the no, 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 no.
I got no's in different area codes. Exactly.
Well, I took Michael Irvin up and I got some hose and went to Papados last night when I was at the
There
Houston
we
airport.
go. There we go.
Papados that's great. Probably the best food I had all trip.
Oh shit. Oh no, don't say that. But how did it make you perform after? No, just too much, too much, too much. But damn,
Not that type of podcast, Shawn.
yeah, yeah, fair, 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 fair. I mean, it is off the clock, but in all fairness, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, enjoy your Bohemian rum. Really jealous.
Oh,
Damn, lesson learned to me. But
they did something different I'd never
oh
done
no,
before.
what do you do?
We went through when we landed in Houston.
Yeah,
We walked right over and got on our plane for Tulsa.
just straight away, just
Yeah, they checked everything. There was
shit.
like this immigration in the Bahamas.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was weird.
So
There was a custom agent, and I was like, "This is, huh? Why
that's
do you
crazy.
need?" Why do you
So
need
everything.
her residency card? We're leaving the Bahamas. This is odd.
Yeah. You
Like
did
he, I
everything
was like,
there.
wait, this is a U.S. Wait, what's going? And yeah, once we land in
That's
Houston, then
wild.
so they never. That part of us, they never checked they never rescanned anything. They didn't do anything.
You just straight through.
Yeah,
That's
once we landed in
crazy.
Houston, we were just straight in. I was
Holy
like,
shit. It
I'm
was
gonna get
different
Shawn
for
on this
us.
one. I was a little
Yeah.
nervous myself because they asked me when I was doing it. They asked if I was going to do a layover or direct, and I was like, no, there's a layover. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So they packaged my rum for the layover, but then I didn't even have to worry
Yeah.
about it. I mean, I could have just.
That's amazing. Shit,
Mhm.
man. We had a layover too. We flew into Toronto, but our process was a lot different.
If I didn't feel like making it worse for you and opening it up, I would have just enjoyed some at the airport. But
Oh
I was
my
like, you know
God.
what? No, I got to wait and rub this in on Shawn.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh man. I felt pain on that one. Seriously. Oh man. Next time. Lesson learned. There you go. See, that was yeah, I got too caught up in the gotta get home. I was just tired, ready to go, and then yeah, which is also signs of not a
Oversold?
great trip. Yeah, being oversold. Yeah, I'd say so. Because if not, I would have been like, oh, I feel so relaxed and what a great
Mm-hmm.
time. Yeah, it's that's interesting, But yeah, the oversold thing never feels good. And that's where
Never.
but I've been doing sales a long time and you do not like 30 plus years and you do not have to make false promises. You just don't. To be successful and like I said, the best sales I've ever seen is saying exactly what they're going to get, meeting those expectations. You get the most referrals, most reviews, most returning customers, most loyal customers. Like it's amazing. We've had occasionally a member leave, go try a different CRM because of cost or something like that or whatever. Oh, I heard there might be this other one that's better. Some they come back within a month and like Jesus, they're like,
Service
man,
always dominates, doesn't it?
yeah,
I
it
like
does.
it. I like it. You
Yeah,
bet.
they're like
If you can
reactivate my
constantly
account,
perform
please.
and you don't need some pill or conch salad, then you're good to go, right? Good to go. Just keep servicing the
100%.
account day in, day out. You're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. No conch salad needed. Well, anyways, on that note, cheers, man. We'll see you next week. All right, guys. Happy holidays. Cheers.